Isn't it strange in 2025 the world just stopped coming to America? And no, it's not because people ran out of money, why? It's because of something deeper. The feeling of being scrutinized at airports, the exhausting visa process, and the growing political unease. So, what happens when the entire world turns its back on the country that used to be the global hub? This isn't just a tourism drop. This is a full-blown economic unraveling. Iconic businesses that once thrived on international visitors, think Disney, Hilton, Uber, Expedia, are now facing serious trouble. Some names you might expect, but others, they'll shock you, because this wave is sparing no one. So what's the next company to fall? Stick around. Miss even a few seconds and you might miss the most important clue in this entire story. Number 1, Airbnb. It used to be the pride of modern travel, flexible, affordable, and global. For years, Airbnb was the go-to choice for international tourists visiting the United States. But now, this once revolutionary platform is quietly sliding into decline right in its own backyard. According to data from AirDNA and Bloomberg, international bookings on Airbnb have dropped by more than 35% in cities like New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and San Francisco compared to 2023. This isn't just a slow season, why? It's a systemic wake-up call. Hosts who used to thrive on Canadian, British, and Japanese travelers are now struggling just to fill a weekend. Entire neighborhoods that once buzzed with tourism, they're going eerily quiet. And with Americans traveling less due to inflation or choosing budget hotels instead of paying Airbnb's ever-growing fees for cleaning, cancellation, and security, the domestic market isn't picking up the slack either. Worse, Airbnb is losing trust, not just from users, but from the global community. And here's the real blow. It's geopolitical. Travelers from countries that once loved the idea of living like a local in America are now asking themselves a tough question: are we even welcome in the United States anymore? In response, Airbnb is trying to pivot, cutting back on international ads and pushing for longer domestic stays. But the numbers don't lie. Revenue in major tourist cities is down. Hosts are leaving the platform in search of more stable income. And if this exodus of travelers continues, Airbnb might go from innovation icon to cautionary tale. A reminder that no platform is safe if the world no longer wants to knock on your door. Number 2, Simon Property Group. Simon Property Group, the giant behind America's biggest shopping malls, is quietly sliding into crisis. And the reason? The international tourists are gone. And with them, a massive stream of revenue has disappeared. In hotspots like Las Vegas, Orlando, and New York, shopping has always been a key part of the tourist experience. But data from Placer.ai and the National Retail Federation shows a harsh reality. Foot traffic from international visitors to malls like the Forum Shops at Caesars and the Galleria has dropped nearly 28% compared to last year. And the fallout, luxury brands are posting weaker sales. Mall restaurants are half empty. Visitors are staying for shorter periods. Even retail powerhouses like Macy's, Nordstrom, and Sephora are reporting losses at tourist-heavy locations, and some are quietly shutting down branches that just aren't viable anymore. At the same time, domestic consumers are cutting back due to inflation. Online shopping keeps growing, and remote work culture means fewer people are even near these malls on weekdays. For years, international tourists were the last safety net holding up the American mall model. Now, even that net is vanishing, spooked by visa hurdles, political tensions, and growing security concerns. Simon Property Group is already seeing the effects. Leasing activity is slowing, vacancy rates are creeping up, and global brands once eager to lock in a Simon Mall presence are now rethinking whether the United States is worth the cost. Unless America can regain its status as a welcoming global destination, Simon's retail empire might collapse. Not because of a bad business model, but because the world simply stopped showing up to shop. Number 3, Uber. Uber, the app every American knows, but international tourists rely on even more. Airport pickups, hotel drop-offs, sightseeing rides, last-minute dinner runs. Uber used to be the invisible companion of every foreign traveler in the United States. But in 2025, that steady stream of demand is drying up fast. According to the United States Travel Association, international arrivals to America have dropped more than 18% compared to 2023. And the impact, in cities like New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and San Francisco, Uber trip volumes are sliding. Drivers are complaining. Fewer airport rides, fewer weekend tourist requests, longer idle times. Uber's second quarter earnings report confirmed it. Ride bookings in tourist zones have taken a hit. Even Uber Eats is feeling it. Fewer travelers mean fewer hotel food orders and spontaneous takeout meals. But this isn't just about economics. It's about perception. Tourists from Europe and Asia increasingly feel American cities just aren't safe anymore. That means fewer rides to downtowns, event venues, or nightlife hotspots. And with fares rising due to driver shortages and higher operational costs, Uber is becoming less attractive overall for locals and tourists alike. Sure, Uber is trying, rolling out promos, partnering with local events, offering rewards, but none of that can recreate the buzz that international visitors used to bring. If the tourism crisis continues, Uber could find itself in a strange position. More drivers than riders, more discounts than revenue, and no real reason for tourists to even open the app anymore. Number 4, Hilton. Hilton, one of the most prestigious hotel brands in the world, is now facing something it's never seen before. Empty rooms in the very cities that once defined American tourism. New York, Orlando, Miami, San Francisco, places that used to be packed with international travelers, are now noticeably quieter. According to recent reports from STR and CBRE Hospitality, bookings from international guests have dropped sharply, double-digit declines across the board, especially from Canada, once Hilton's largest foreign market in the United States, where political tensions and tariff issues have caused a major pullback. Meanwhile, loyal Hilton Honors members from Europe and Asia are choosing destinations that feel safer, more welcoming and easier to access, like Portugal, Japan and Canada. But it's not just about fewer guests. It's about a full-scale retreat. Hilton used to thrive on international conference travelers, luxury tour groups and high-end vacationers coming to the United States. Now they're backing out all at once. As a result, premium Hilton properties in cities like Chicago, Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles are seeing extended stretches of vacancy. Revenue is down. To cope, Hilton's been slashing room rates, cutting restaurant operations and even downsizing staff. But those cost-cutting moves are starting to backfire, eroding the guest experience and slowly chipping away at the brand's reputation. Even iconic hotels like the Waldorf Astoria in Las Vegas and the Hilton Hawaiian Village are seeing less foot traffic. Meanwhile, competitors like AOR and NH hotels in Europe and luxury resorts across Asia are booming. If the United States doesn't rethink its visa policies or rebuild its global image, Hilton's American operations may be in for a long, painful decline, not because of bad management, but because international travelers are simply choosing not to come anymore. Number 5, American Airlines. American Airlines, once a proud symbol of global connection and one of the largest carriers in the United States, is spiraling into serious turbulence. The reason? International flights are running dangerously empty. According to the International Air Transport Association, inbound international air traffic to the United States is down nearly 20% year over year. And among all the major airlines, American Airlines is taking the biggest hit. Routes that used to print money, like Toronto to Miami, London to Dallas, or Tokyo to Los Angeles, are now being slashed or consolidated. And it's not just about how many people are flying, it's who's no longer flying. High-spending loyalty program, frequent flyers, the ones in business class, the ones fueling the A-Advantage program are disappearing. And when they start booking with Lufthansa, ANA, or Air Canada instead, winning them back is a steep uphill battle. American is trying to react, cutting flights, laying off airport staff overseas, and reducing frequency on once busy routes. But the issues go deeper than operations. Rising fuel costs, ongoing union negotiations, and new diplomatic red tape tied to global tensions are all piling on. And here's the real kicker. Travelers are losing trust in the United States visa system, in the image of America as a destination. And when they stop choosing America, they stop choosing American Airlines too. If this trend continues, American Airlines could lose its place as a global leader, forced to shrink into a domestic carrier while competitors take over the international skies. Not because of bad service or outdated aircraft, but because the world simply doesn't want to fly to America anymore. Number 6, Caesars and MGM. Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps. The neon playground of dreams and dice is now facing a very real economic nightmare, and it's unfolding right in broad daylight. The two giants of Vegas entertainment, Caesars Entertainment and MGM Resorts, are quietly watching their international customer base vanish. Canada, which once sent over 1.4 million visitors to Vegas every year, has pulled back sharply. Guests from Germany, the United Kingdom and Japan, once heavy hitters at casinos, luxury shows and upscale restaurants, are no longer showing up. Hotels like MGM Grand, Bellagio, Caesars Palace and the Venetian, once booked out months in advance, are now offering deep discounts just to fill rooms. But this isn't just a low occupancy issue. This is a breakdown of an entire business model built around international travelers, the big spenders, the high rollers, the ones flying in for world-class events. In 2025 alone, multiple large-scale conferences from Europe and Asia canceled their Vegas plans due to visa delays, rising costs, and geopolitical instability. Casino revenue is down. Restaurants inside the resorts are sitting empty. Retail sales are slipping. Some of the biggest Vegas shows have ended early, not because of bad reviews, but because there's no one left in the audience. In response, MGM and Caesars have slashed marketing budgets, paused expansion plans, and trimmed their workforce, all while trying to maintain basic operations. But the bigger question remains, if the world has turned its back, does Vegas still have what it takes to bounce back? If this trend doesn't reverse, Las Vegas risks shrinking from a global entertainment capital into a regional playground. A city built for millions now scrambling to entertain a much smaller crowd. And these two massive empires may be forced to survive by scaling down the dream. Number 7. Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines, once hailed as America's most reliable carrier, is now flying through turbulence it can't navigate out of. And at the center of the storm, a sharp decline in international travelers. From its major hubs in Atlanta, New York JFK and Detroit, Delta used to dominate transatlantic and trans-Pacific routes. But in 2025, passenger traffic from France, Germany, Japan and South Korea has plunged. Once profitable routes to Paris, Munich, Seoul and London now being cut back or consolidated. But the issue isn't just empty seats. It's empty business class seats. And that's where the real profits come from. International RASM, revenue per available seat mile, is dropping fast. Delta has been forced to pull wide-body jets off international routes and repurpose them for domestic flights. A move that may keep planes flying but isn't sustainable long-term. And now the dominoes are falling. Ground staff at overseas airports are being let go. Code share agreements with global partners are being canceled. Foreign market investments are on pause. Meanwhile, competitors like Emirates, Lufthansa, and ANA are swooping in to reclaim lost ground. If international trust in the United States doesn't rebound soon, Delta may have no choice but to retreat from the global stage. Not because of poor strategy, but because America itself is no longer a welcome destination. Number 8. Expedia Group. Expedia Group, the company behind travel giants like Expedia.com, Hotels.com, Vrbo, and Travelocity, used to be the bridge that brought millions of international travelers to the United States. But by 2025, that bridge is breaking. Expedia is now facing a massive shock. The world has stopped booking trips to America. Internal data shows steep booking declines from key markets like Canada, Germany, France, and Japan. Search traffic is way down. Those once popular bundle deals, flight plus hotel plus car, to cities like New York, Orlando, and San Francisco are now sitting untouched. Why? Because global travelers are looking at the United States with a whole new lens, complicated, risky, and just not worth the visa headache. Visa restrictions are getting tighter. Political uncertainty is rising. And that gut feeling of we're not welcome is pushing people toward destinations like Portugal, Thailand, or even Canada, where the travel feels smoother, safer, and more welcoming. Even Vrbo, once the go-to for international families seeking long stays in the United States, is seeing a major shift. Searches and bookings are now rising, but in Europe and Southeast Asia, not America. That's forced Expedia to slash ad budgets for United States-bound marketing and pivot toward domestic tourism or regions that have nothing to do with the United States market. The real problem, the United States used to be Expedia's golden pillar. When international travelers vanish, Expedia loses more than just booking revenue. It loses hotel commissions, service fees, and even credibility with global partners. If this trend doesn't reverse soon, Expedia risks losing its niche dominance in North America and being overtaken by faster, more trusted platforms worldwide. It's a bitter lesson, When a country loses the world's trust, the first to suffer are the businesses built on bringing that world in. Number 9. Marriott International. Marriott, the largest hotel chain in the world by number of rooms, is facing a quiet but serious crisis right here in the United States. And the reason is becoming all too familiar. International travelers are disappearing. With over 7,000 hotels across America, Marriott has long relied on a steady stream of global guests, business travelers, vacationing families, international delegations. But now, key markets like Canada, Germany, Japan, and the United Kingdom are backing out, canceling trips, rerouting plans, or simply deciding the United States isn't worth the trouble anymore. The result, premium brands like the Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, and JW Marriott, once the standard of luxury in cities like San Francisco, New York, and Miami, are now showing unusually high vacancy rates. Revenue from group bookings and international conferences, once a money-making machine for Marriott, has dropped sharply. Those massive tour blocks from Asia and Europe that used to fill entire hotel floors, gone. In response, Marriott has been quietly lowering rates, freezing hiring, and delaying renovations and expansions across major cities. But these short-term tactics don't address the core issue. America is losing its appeal as a top-tier global destination. And that's a massive problem because Marriott's business model is built on everywhere presence. But now, being everywhere in the United States is becoming a liability. High operating costs, low occupancy rates, and shaken investor confidence. Meanwhile, Marriott properties in Southeast Asia and Europe are reporting steady revenue growth, which raises a critical question. Should Marriott start shifting its focus away from the United States? And if that happens, it sends a loud message. When a country loses its global image, even the strongest brands can't escape the consequences. Number 10. The Walt Disney Company. Walt Disney, the ultimate symbol of American imagination and global pop culture, is facing something almost unthinkable. International visitors are no longer coming to Disney parks in the United States. Florida and California, home to Disney World and Disneyland, once welcomed millions of travelers from around the globe, from Canada, the United Kingdom, Japan, Brazil, and beyond. But,